Ethan Walker was the kind of man people forgot the moment he walked past them. 38 years old. High school history teacher. Lived in a modest two-bedroom house in a quiet Ohio suburb where lawns were trimmed every Saturday and neighbors waved but never really talked. He wasn't weak. He wasn't lazy. He wasn't a failure. He was just decent. And in a world that rewards loudness, decency often goes unnoticed. Ethan woke up every weekday at 5:30 a.m., brewed the same bitter coffee, and packed the same turkey sandwich in brown paper. He drove a 10-year-old Toyota, listened to NPR, and arrived at Lincoln High School before most students were even awake. His students liked him. Some even loved him. He taught them about revolutions, French, American civil rights. He talked about justice, about how power always fears truth. Sometimes, when he got carried away, his voice would tremble with belief. History isn't just dates, he'd say. It's consequences. At home, his world was small but warm. His wife, Laura, worked nights as a nurse. Their daughter, Mia, was 8 years old, curious, stubborn, and laughed with her whole body. Ethan believed, foolishly, that if you did the right thing long enough, life would eventually respect you. That belief would cost him everything. Change arrived on a Monday. Her name was Vanessa Crow, new principal, mid-40s, sharp suit, sharper smile, the kind of smile that never reached her eyes. During the staff meeting, she talked about restructuring, image, and performance metrics. Words that sounded harmless until you realized they were weapons. Ethan didn't worry. He had tenure, clean record, solid evaluations, but Vanessa noticed him. Not because he was bad, but because he wasn't useful. He refused to inflate grades. He questioned budget cuts that hurt special needs programs. He once politely challenged her decision to replace books with approved summaries. After that meeting, something shifted. Emails went unanswered. Requests got delayed. Suddenly, Ethan's classroom was randomly selected for extra observations. Vanessa would sit in the back with a tablet, watching, not the students him, like a predator studying patience. It happened on a Thursday. A student named Rachel Monroe, 16, quiet, troubled, didn't come to class. By Friday morning, Ethan was called into the principal's office. Vanessa sat there. So did a man from HR and a police officer. No one smiled. "Mr. Walker," Vanessa said softly, "a very serious allegation has been made against you." The word allegation echoed like a gunshot. Rachel had accused him of inappropriate behavior. No evidence. No witnesses, just her word. Ethan laughed at first, not mockingly, nervously. Then he saw the officer's face. This was real. He was escorted out of the building. Students watched through glass hallways. Phones came out. Whispers spread faster than truth ever could. By evening, his name was on Facebook. By morning, it was on the local news. Teacher under investigation. Not guilty. Not innocent. Just accused. And in America, that's often enough. Laura stood by him. At first, she told friends it was impossible. She told Mia that Daddy was just sick. But the nights grew longer. Bills piled up. Legal fees ate their savings. Parents crossed the street to avoid them. Mia stopped getting invited to birthday parties. One night, Ethan overheard Laura crying in the bathroom. "I don't know who you are anymore," she whispered. That sentence broke something inside him. The school board suspended him indefinitely without pay. The police investigation dragged on. Rachel recanted once, then accused him again. Conflicting stories didn't matter. The stain remained. Then came the final blow. Vanessa Crow testified that she had noticed concerning behavior long before the accusation. It was a lie, but it was a useful one. The charges were eventually dropped. Insufficient evidence. No apology, no correction, no headline saying innocent. Just a quiet update buried on page 6. Ethan applied for jobs, rejected, again and again. His reputation had become radioactive. The house grew quiet. Laura stopped looking at him the same way. One night, she packed a suitcase. "I need to protect our daughter," she said, avoiding his eyes. Ethan didn't argue. What was there to say? A month later, Mia was gone. Just like that. The house echoed with absence. No footsteps. No laughter. No reason to wake up early. Ethan sold the house. Moved into a small apartment near the edge of town. The kind of place where walls were thin and hope thinner. He stopped shaving. Stopped correcting people who mispronounced his name. Stopped caring. Some nights he sat in the dark, replaying everything, and slowly, a pattern emerged. Vanessa Crowe hadn't just destroyed him. She'd used him. His removal cleared the way for a lucrative contract with an educational consulting firm, one she had ties to. Rachel Monroe's family had received a quiet settlement from the district. Everyone moved on, except Ethan. Revenge didn't come as rage. It came as clarity. One evening, months later, Ethan was scrolling through old emails when he noticed something he'd missed before. A timestamp, a forwarded message, an inconsistency. Vanessa had altered a report, just slightly, enough to change meaning. Ethan leaned forward, heart racing. He began digging. Old files, archived emails, public records. And what he found made his hands shake. Vanessa Crowe had done this before. Not once, not twice. 3 teachers, 3 accusations, 3 careers erased. All replaced by people loyal to her. All forgotten. Except now, she'd chosen the wrong man. Because Ethan Walker had nothing left to lose. And history, his old friend, had taught him one thing very well. Every empire falls. Not by force, but by truth. Ethan Walker didn't announce his comeback. He disappeared. To the outside world, he was just another ruined man drifting into obscurity, working night shifts at a warehouse, sleeping during the day, keeping his head down. That's what people saw. What they didn't see was what he did after midnight. Every night, Ethan sat at a second-hand desk in his apartment, laptop open, walls covered with printed documents taped together like a puzzle. Court transcripts, school board minutes, HR policy manuals, email metadata. He wasn't looking for revenge the way movies show it, no weapons, no threats. He was looking for patterns. And patterns always tell the truth. Vanessa Crowe liked control. She hated unpredictability. She reused methods because they worked. False concerns, manufactured urgency, strategic leaks to the press, and then settlements, silence, promotion. Ethan built a timeline, and the timeline didn't lie. Revenge is lonely, but justice, real justice, needs witnesses. Ethan found his first ally by accident. Her name was Caleb Morris, former English teacher, fired 5 years earlier. Different district, same story. Accused, suspended, cleared quietly. Career dead. Ethan sent a single email. "I believe what happened to you wasn't an accident." Caleb replied 3 days later. "I've been waiting for someone to say that." They met at a diner off the interstate, neutral ground. Cold coffee, shared silence. Caleb had saved everything: emails, performance reviews, notes from informal meetings, and one thing Ethan didn't have: a recording. Vanessa's voice, calm, manipulative. "You don't want this to get ugly, do you?" she had said. Ethan felt something shift inside him. This wasn't paranoia. This was a system. Digging deeper came with consequences. Ethan's phone buzzed with unknown numbers. His email got phishing attempts. Once, he found his apartment door slightly open. Nothing stolen. Just a message. Fear crept in. At night, he dreamed of Mia asking why he hadn't protected her. He almost quit. Almost. Then he saw a photo online. Vanessa Crowe at a charity gala, smiling, celebrated. Caption: a champion for education reform. Something hardened inside Ethan. She had stolen years from him, from Mia, from others. And she was being rewarded. That was the moment revenge became purpose. Ethan knew exposure alone wouldn't be enough. Vanessa was insulated lawyer's PR influence, so he studied her weaknesses. She needed admiration. She needed control of the narrative. And above all, she needed silence. So Ethan planned to take those things away, slowly. He created an anonymous account, not to attack, to observe. He joined educator forums, policy boards, advocacy groups. He watched Vanessa's name come up again and again. He noticed something else too. She was getting sloppy, overconfident, and overconfidence leaves fingerprints. Every story needs a voice. Ethan found his in Marissa Klein, investigative journalist, mid-30s, known for dismantling institutions, not individuals. He didn't lead with accusations. He led with documents, patterns, timelines, settlements hidden behind NDAs. Marissa didn't respond for weeks. Then one night, at 2:17 a.m., his inbox lit up. If this is real, it's bigger than you think. They met in a public library. Marissa listened without interrupting. When he finished, she asked one question: "Why are you doing this?" Ethan thought of Mia, of his empty house, of all the people who never got their lives back. Because someone has to stop her. Marissa nodded. "I'm in. But understand this, once we start, there's no turning back." Ethan already knew. To expose Vanessa, they needed her to act. So they created an opportunity. A fake whistleblower report, carefully crafted, legally safe, suggesting internal misconduct within the district. Nothing defamatory. Just enough to threaten her control. The response was immediate. Vanessa called an emergency meeting. Emails flew. Old habits resurfaced. And then she made the mistake Ethan was waiting for. She altered a document. Again. This time, digitally. And this time, Marissa was watching. Metadata doesn't lie. As the story grew, so did the pressure. Ethan received a cease and desist letter, then another. Someone followed him once, just a block, but enough. Lavra called for the first time in months. "I heard rumors," she said. "Are you doing something dangerous?" Ethan closed his eyes. "I'm fixing something," he replied. There was a long pause. "Just don't disappear," she said. For the first time, Ethan felt the weight of what he was risking. Not his life. His chance at redemption. Marissa's article was almost ready. Legal review, fact-checking, more sources coming forward. One former administrator, then another. The story had teeth now. Ethan stood in his apartment, staring at the wall where the timeline once hung. He took it down, folded it carefully. This wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about reckoning. And somewhere in the city, Vanessa Crowe sensed something was wrong. She just didn't know yet that the man she erased had learned how to make the world remember. The article went live at 6 a.m., no dramatic headline, no emotional language, just facts. A pattern of silence, how one school district buried careers to protect power. By noon, it was everywhere. Local news first, then state outlets. By evening, national attention. Screens filled with timelines, highlighted documents, audio clips. Vanessa Crowe's name appeared again and again. Not accused, not connected. By sunset, the school district released a statement. "We are reviewing the claims." By midnight, that statement was deleted. Vanessa didn't call a lawyer first. She called Ethan. Block number. Cold voice. "You think you've won?" she asked. Ethan said nothing. "You were always small," she continued. "This ends badly for people like you." Ethan finally spoke. "You ended badly for yourself." She hung up. An hour later, her resignation letter leaked. personal reasons. No apology. No accountability. But this time, no silence either. Once the first wall cracked, everything poured through. Teachers, counselors, former students. Stories that had been whispered for years now had air, and DAs were challenged. Settlements reopened. Lawyers circled like vultures. The district placed multiple administrators on leave. Vanessa Crow's consulting firm lost its contracts within 48 hours. Then came the subpoena, emails, servers, personal devices. What they found was worse than anyone expected. Not just manipulation, coordination, a system designed to destroy credibility quietly. And she had built it. Vanessa never took the stand. Her lawyers advised against it. Too much evidence, too many voices. She accepted a plea deal. No prison, but everything else? Gone. Career, reputation, legacy. Her name became a case study in ethics seminars. A cautionary tale. 6 months later, Ethan stood in a courtroom. Not as a defendant, as a witness. His name was spoken clearly, respectfully. The judge looked at him and said, "Mr. Walker, the record will reflect that you were wronged." It wasn't loud, but it mattered. The school board reinstated his credentials, publicly. A statement of apology followed. It wasn't enough, but it was real. Ethan met Lavra at a park. Mia ran toward him first, hugged him like time had never passed. Lavra stood back. "I was afraid," she said quietly. "I know," Ethan replied. They didn't fix everything that day, but they started. Sometimes justice gives you closure. Sometimes it gives you a second chance. Marissa offered him a book deal, a speaking tour, a platform. Ethan declined most of it. Instead, he joined a nonprofit that protected educators from false accusations. He taught again, but differently now. Less idealism, more truth. He told his students, power doesn't fall when it's attacked. It falls when it's exposed. One evening, Ethan drove past Lincoln High School. Lights on, students laughing, life continuing. He didn't stop. Some chapters don't need revisiting. At home, Mia sat at the kitchen table doing homework. She looked up. "Dad," she asked, "did you win?" Ethan smiled softly. "No," he said. "I survived, and sometimes that's the strongest kind of revenge there is."